Hi, welcome back, I guess, to Sloppy's Weeb Corner. I now have a light, a very, very fancy one, I guess. It's the one light I have, aside from that one. So now I don't have to use my Xbox as a light. Yeah, welcome back to Sloppy's Weeb Corner. Today we're going to be reviewing a silent voice. We're going to be going by chapters now. So I know I did a full review of the box set as a whole, but I didn't go too in-depth on the story, which I will do in these videos. So I'm going to go chapter by chapter for the next few videos. The Higurashi series is still in development. I actually want to make sure that I have my facts straight and that everything is mostly correct and not just going off of base memory. So I've been rewatching the main series and the OVAs / non-canon stuff, as well as watching a bunch of Let's Plays of the games, and I've been finding my own way to read the manga and some of the light novels, because I just want to make sure all my facts are straight and that I'm not just guessing that, oh yeah, this happens and that happens, and just be wrong about everything, because I want to be somewhat correct for that series, because I love Higurashi. It's great. Go watch it or read it. Do whatever's in your forte. If you prefer reading manga, or if you just prefer reading, go ahead, read the manga or light novel. I don't remember exactly which one is which. If you like the anime side of things, watch the anime. You're not going to be disappointed. The original series, of course, is notoriously low budget and poorly, in quotes, animated because of the budget cuts at the time. And don't watch the dub. I made that mistake. As much as it is easier to watch it at some point, it's definitely not as good as the subs. I know that's a big war, in quotes, even though the argument's really stupid. Nowadays, the whole argument doesn't really matter because they're kind of on par, in my opinion. You can watch dubs and subs equally. Do what you prefer. Do what you prefer. Digest Higurashi in your own way. Shut up, dog! Enjoy Higurashi, or whatever you're gonna enjoy in whatever way you prefer. Which could be just watching videos of people explaining it, could be watching the anime, playing the games, light novels, manga, whatever. Just ingest the story how you prefer to do it. Because if you do it the way that you prefer it, you're most likely going to enjoy it and stick with it. So today, finally, we're getting to it. Today on Sloppy's Weeb Corner, which we aren't sitting in a corner, I'm on a desk. I will move to the corner soon. Soon. I just need to set more shit. Alright. Back to it. Today on Sloppy's Weeb Corner, we're going to be, as stated earlier, the first chapter of Silent Voice. We're going chapter by chapter for this series because I want to go more in depth on the story. Now, I read the entire series of A Silent Voice, all 7 chapters, in 2 days. And by God, I still cried. But we're not going to focus on that. Those are going to be coming in later videos. We're going to be talking about more of it, of what happens in those specific chapters when I film those chapter videos. So today we're going to be starting with chapter 1, when this is the chapter where most of the bullying towards Shoko. I have the names on the back, so I'm going to cheat. Shh, don't tell nobody. I'm really bad at remembering character names, so I might mix them up a few times in the series. Please don't get mad at me, but for now I'm cheating and reading their names off of the back of the book. So yeah, the first chapter is more of the introduction to the characters, as usual. We get introduced more to Shoya and Shoko. We learn more about Shoko later in the series, which I will touch on when we get to it. But in this chapter, we learn a lot about Shoya and why he does what he does. Shoya basically bullies Shoko, not for exactly for being deaf, not exactly that. His logic and reasoning behind it is a battle against boredom. Which let me take a sec to find it. That's because he takes a quote from his sister, which is Sis says life is a war against boredom, and I believe that that's kind of his reasoning, even though it's not the greatest. It's incredibly flimsy, actually. His whole point of bullying Shoko is his battle against boredom, in the book at least, which isn't the greatest reasoning, but for now, we'll roll with it. And also, I'm assuming that since he picked Shoko because it was the easiest target, considering new student and deaf. So that's immediately 2 big knocks to take against Shoko. I know, I say words differently. Leave me alone. But yeah, I'm going to touch on the before parts also. I believe he meets Shoko about in the middle, like around this spot, around here, about a third into the book. That's when he meets Shoko. And before that, we get a lot more information about his childhood, what he likes to do. So him and his friends, they essentially after school, they all jump off of the local bridges into the canals below, which aren't exactly death height, but of course they're a little bit dangerous because jumping off a bridge into a canal. And they call it the daredevil test, and if you wimp out, you're a bitch. I shouldn't say that, that's mean. But yeah, that's essentially how they do that. They fight against boredom by jumping off of the local bridges into canals and such things, I guess. And essentially, once he meets Shoko, that's when he starts changing his focus from exactly the bridges for his fight against boredom to bullying Shoko, because that's going to endanger him a bit more. That's going to have a little bit more risk. So yeah, this is when the main parts of the bullying starts, and this is the book that it takes the most place in. And ironically, it doesn't actually last as long as it does in the movie, which apparently isn't actually that much. I thought it lasted longer in the movie, but I reviewed both, and it actually is longer in the movie. It's slightly longer. I don't remember exactly the minutes because I didn't go and count. But it's actually just a chunk of pages that it goes from the beginning of the bullying towards essentially the end, but most if not all the bullying, aside from a few flashbacks, is contained within the first chapter, which I think is a nice detail to add, aside from showing how long it's been lasting throughout the same year, because all of it takes place within not the entire story, of course, but all the bullying takes place within a singular year. Excuse me. And it does give a little bit more backstory about Shoko later in the series, which again, as I said, I will touch on when the time comes for it. But yeah, the art as well is still, I guess, really good, as I stated earlier. There's not as many huge, wide pages of big drawings. I'm going to see if I can find one. There are, of course, the typical first page colored, which I honestly find really, really cool when they color the first page or first two pages, depending on the story. I want to see if I can find actually the wide shot. Let's see if I can find it. There's one that I love in the later series, which I will show again, because it's great. Because of the amount of work that went into the art of at least these different shots. Because not only is the art just good on its own, there's a few different scenes that I really want to focus on and show you guys. Here it is. Like, the detail in this later scene, which I will touch base on again later, is great. Like, these 2 pages alone must have taken more, like, at least a few days, 1 or 2 maybe. But if you know how the whole system works, it might taken less. But at this point, the art just goes from about a 6 or 7. Honestly, it's fairly average for manga standards, but because it's nothing huge or crazy or bombastic like a shonen battle series. But for a series like this that's fairly more drama and plot heavy, it is incredibly good, especially for those big pages like that. But let's get back to this chapter, which is what we're supposed to be focusing on. As I said earlier, the majority of the bullying and past scenes takes place here in this chapter, which I like because this is the first chapter. This is the introduction to the plot, characters, motivations, etc. And I like that they do sprinkle it in later in the series. Like, we do see a few callbacks back to the past when they were children, but it's mostly focused on here. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to talk about it without talking about the series as a whole, which is why I'm trying to stay focused as much as I can. This video is getting kind of long, especially for my other videos, which, like the merch reviews, that's kind of what I've been going off of for time-wise, which I shouldn't, because those are, what, maybe 5 minutes max? Because a lot of them are just figures and just me talking about them and assembling them. But I should be more focused. These reviews do take longer to set up and explain, especially for singular small chapters like these. I might do these as groups of 2 for the next few episodes, at least for this series, because I could go more in depth in each one, but I do like how these are really off the cuff and like unscripted, especially, except for my Higurashi series. That one I do want to be scripted because I actually really want to take time and care to that. And I will definitely do another series overview for A Silent Voice once I finish reviewing all the chapters, as the box set video was kind of just an explanation and showing off what came with it. Excuse me. So yeah, that's kind of really it to talk about. You can pick up I think you can get the books individually for, well, it says here about $11 American, 12 Canadian. And it does recommend it for 13 plus because of the subject matter that the series touches on. But I would honestly recommend it for anybody that's in 5th grade or even 6th grade. So that's 9 to 12-year-olds, really. Because honestly, you're going to definitely encounter similar situations, definitely in middle school, maybe in primary, which is years 1 through 5. So ages 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And definitely into high school, you might encounter some similar situations. Not exactly the same, like no one's really going to rip out your hearing aids unless you're actually using hearing aids, but obviously you're going to get messed with. So I feel like people that are at a younger, in quotations, age, definitely preteens, should at least read the first chapter of this book or watch the movie, because that way they can kind of expect stuff to happen to them and get clowned on in school. So they know what's going to happen and how they can at least deal with it in some way. But I know people are going to disagree with me, but that's just kind of how this shit goes. For the first chapter, again, I've changed my rating system from out of 5 to out of 10, so that way I can get a better grip. Honestly, I know I'm looking here, and the camera is here. That's because I'm looking at my phone screen, because I want to be able to see what I'm, kind of where I'm at. I know I need to be focused on that. But I'm more focused on that, on the image itself, because I like to know what I'm actually pointing to, and so I don't constantly have to do this, because it looks awkward. But yeah, out of 10, Silent Voice Chapter 1, I'll give it a 7. As a chapter alone, definitely a 7 or a 6, because it does leave you wanting more. And if you read the rest of it, I definitely give it an 8, maybe a 9, the entire series as a whole. But yeah, as a singular chapter alone, I'll give it a 7. 7 out of 10. Next video will most likely be Chapter 2, or maybe Chapter 2 and 3. Who knows how I actually want to organize this series into simplicity, so I don't die. I don't know. I'm tired. But yeah, either I'll be reviewing the Dragon Ball Z manga, first volume, because I remember, these are chapters. Big books are volumes. Alright, so yeah, that's it for the first episode in my Silent Voice review series. I'll be going through the rest of the chapters in later videos. Next video is probably going to be either Chapter 2, or I will go with Dragon Ball Z Chapter 1. That means I'm going to have to take notes, so I don't constantly just say, so yeah, and this and that, and yada yada yada, whatever. But yeah, the Higurashi series is coming. I'm just making sure that my script is laid out and done correctly so I don't goof myself. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining me today. The area out is over there. Come back to the corner whenever you want to see something else. Leave other stories and mangas and animes and stuff down in the comments below that you'd actually like me to review, because that way I can actually expand some of my content and not just go off of what I have here until my computer. Stop it. And not just because I'm gonna run out of manga to review at some point, and anime reviews take longer because I'd like to have actual screenshots show up, so that way I have a visual aid and can seem like I know what I'm talking about instead of just trying to describe a scene. I can describe it and show the visual aid as well. So yeah, and most streaming services don't allow screenshots, so it's kind of, oh no, it's kind of difficult to do. So that's why they take a bit longer, because I'd like to have some more visual aids aside from just my voice and grading way of speaking. But yeah, that's it for this episode of Sloppy's Weeb Corner. Come back next time for when you'd like another review. Let me know what you'd like to see in the comments below, and the next video will most likely be Silent Voice Chapter 2 or Dragon Ball Z. Who knows? Maybe I'll actually go inside of Shiver and review each story individually, but that'd be hella difficult to do because they're all really, really short. I might just do that for my Wednesday videos because those are really more off, like much more off the cuff and supposed to be shorter, so I might just use Shiver for now until I get another compilation of short stories. Who knows? I might do that, or Dragon Ball Super, or whatever. But yeah, that's it. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.